What's up YouTube, this your boy Perfect Cell, and I'm here doing the ranking of best Dragon Ball Z video games from the 6th generation console. And just in case y'all don't know what the 6th generation console is, it's the first Xbox, the PlayStation 2, the GameCube, and the Sega Dreamcast. Well, I don't know if Dreamcast ever had any Dragon Ball Z games, but Now the reason why I'm doing this video is because, well, it's Goku Day, and I love Dragon Ball. Besides, like, Dragon Ball, that's like the gateway for the anime planet for me. Hell, even my moniker on YouTube is named after a Dragon Ball character. Anyways, these are some of the Dragon Ball games of my childhood. And it was the best of times, and it was even the worst of times. But it was mostly the best though. So without any further ado, let's get on to the rankings of the worst to best Dragon Ball Z video games of the 6th generation console. Number 9, we have Dragon Ball Z Sagas. Now this game is dead last because, well, I really did not like this game at all. First off, the software is very obsolete. I mean, it needed a DualShock 2 controller to play this game. And this game came out in like, what, 2005? I thought they stopped that in like 2003. And the crazy thing about the whole thing is, this game is not even a PlayStation 2 exclusive, so why they put that DualShock software in there? To where they don't make the game third-party controller compatible. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, I will give it some credit. I do like the idea that's been written on paper. I mean, like, instead of being the usual fighting game, it's now an adventure game this time. And like I said before, it sounds good on paper, but when you get to play it, it's just one big disappointment. Now, don't get me wrong, I played a fair share of terrible games back in my day, like Def Jam Icon, Crackdown, 007's Everything or Nothing. See, these games, yeah, they were horrible, but I liked them. I liked them because they possess qualities that made me want to come back to the game again and again and again and again. But this bad game right here, it just doesn't do it for me. Like, Dragon Ball Z Sagas is literally like drinking non-alcoholic beer. It doesn't taste good at all, and it does completely nothing for me at all. Like, it's literally horrible for no reason. First and foremost, the camera angling is way off. And just like its software, is very obsolete. Like, I thought they stopped this stiff camera like setting back in the PlayStation era. Why we have to go through it again with the next generation console? It just doesn't make any sense, man. And then you also have the roster selection. Like, the roster selection is just really dumb to me. Like, you have a Goku of different episodes, a Piccolo of different episodes, a Gohan of different episodes. Why not have each character of a different sagas? Why all gotta be separate episodes for? Like, it just doesn't make any sense, bro. Like, you pretty much have the same character over and over again. It's just a whole bunch of fillers. And speaking of fillers, what in the hell was the purpose of having the Yardrat saga on this game? Now, I understand, like, this part revolutionized Goku's skills forever. You know, Goku going to Yardrat and learning how to teleport, but Goku did not fight anybody on Yardrat, so why we gotta fight somebody on Yardrat too? And the villain don't even look good, he looks atrocious. And not to mention, the graphics look horrible, and the animations, the animations was even worse. I guess I would let the graphics slide if the movement and mechanics were decent, but it's not decent at all. There's a whole bunch of glitches, and then when the fighter does they fast runs, it looked like they got Goku's power pole up their butt. And then, not to mention, the combo system has no real depth to it. It's just very repetitive. It's as repetitive as the super moves on here. All you do is just hit various buttons over and over and over again. And don't get me started on their little transformation system that they got going on. Instead of like the other games where all you had to do is charge up your key and just transform, That doesn't work in this game. Nah, you know what you have to do in order to transform into a Super Saiyan in this game? You gotta spam a whole bunch of combos over and over and over and over and over again. As soon as you get the combo thing up to the Super Saiyan part, that's where you charge up your ki. And this feature is very tedious. It made me want to shoot myself in the freaking head because, well, on some bosses you can't even like affect them with your attacks without going Super Saiyan. So you pretty much spamming combos just to be the freaking boss on that shit. Excuse my language, but man, this game really pissing me off. I want to get to the good part. Let me get to the good part. Number 8, Super Dragon Ball Z. Now this game right here only played one time and I've already seen enough. Now I do like the fighters and their positioning in battle. It's nothing like the Budokai series where it was just a side-scrolling action. This game is like one big arena. And not to mention you could customize your favorite character on the game. Well, mostly customize their looks. And then when a character does a special move, you can actually like control it and move it around and what have you. Like, I don't know, to me it was kind of decent, a little bit decent, better than Sagas. Now that I covered all the good part of this game right here, let's get into the bad part. Let's get in straight to the funk. The controls, it really was frustrating me a whole lot because, well, in most Dragon Ball Z games to do a key basic attack, it was just a simple button combination. And it was well structured in my opinion. But this game is all over the place with its controls. And also, the rosters look like it's been rushed. And it probably was rushed considering the fact that it came out the same year as Sagas and Tenkaichi. And not to mention the story mode, where the story mode don't really have a distinct walkthrough. You know, it's not like the other story modes that had their own distinct look to it. And it's like no matter how much you play it, everything is still the same. It's no secrets, no nothing. It's just like playing a freaking arcade or something like that. It's like, I don't know. I wasn't feeling this. And it's weird because IGN rates this a 7 out of 10. I actually think it's like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. But hey, that's just my opinion. Number 7, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. Oh my god, this game is taking me back some. Bro, I remember it like it was yesterday when I first put this game into the PS2 for the very first time in my life. I could never forget the theme music, the graphics, all of that. Bro, all of that stuff had 8-year-old me on cloud 9, bro. And it's weird, a lot of people call this one of the worst Dragon Ball Z games of all time in the franchise, but I really disagree. I mean, yeah, it had its flaws, which I will mention later on, but unlike its predecessors, like its predecessors, it still had the same mechanics, but they spiced it up a little bit. Like how on the Ki Blast barrage attacks, it comes with a big blast at the end. And then they had the little special counter sense system where basically if somebody performs a special move on you, you can basically do the little beam struggle control roll around analog stick thing to defend yourself against it and reduce the damage to the special attacks. And sometimes not only you can also reduce the damage, but in some cases it can actually like harm them. Now a lot of people thought that this was corny, but I love it. I love the story mode. I love the structured board game. Like, I love Bobby's spaceships, and we cannot forget that raw set how it expanded from his forefather. Now, like I said before, this game did have some flaws, and here goes the mistakes. And one of the mistakes is this: why do some of the characters seem so static? Like Goku is like the only dynamic character here. I get it, since the beginning of Dragon Ball, the whole series been centered around Goku, but good lord, man, like other characters have development too. And in this game, it seems like no character on there didn't seem to have any type of charisma on there at all. Now, I understand this. Most of the people who play this game anyway are Dragon Ball fans, so they should know who the characters are up to this point. But anybody who's casually playing the game and don't even know anything about Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, if they were to play this game, they will probably think that, oh, Goku is the guy who gets all the clout. Then they'll also say that the rest of the Dragon Ball cast sucks. And then another thing I also wanted to mention is, what the hell was up with that filler saga in between the Saiyan saga and the Namek saga, where it was just basically the Namek saga but in snow, but in the Red Ribbon Army towers. I think it was the Red Ribbon Army Towers. I can't remember. Like, all it is basically fighting Frieza in the Ginyu Force, but not on Namek. I wouldn't really have a problem with that, but the only problem I got with it is that, like, well, they already have a saga like that in the Net Saga, in the Namek Saga. So what was the point of that? But either way, man, your boy Purple Cell, he loves Budokai 2, even if it does have its flaws. Number 6, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi. I'm not gonna lie, this game right here, revolutionized Dragon Ball Z fighting games around the whole world. Unlike the classic Budokai trilogy where it was just a simple side-scroller action to most fighting games, this have a split screen with a free roaming map to where you can create great distance between you and your opponent. And then you can fly through rocks and mountains, fly through rubble, hell, you can even fight underwater. In this series, it seems like there's no boundaries to it at all. Like, you can play against giants such as the Great Apes, and let's not forget how you can start your fighter into their transform state. And you don't even have to worry about powering down if you like hit the floor like in the Budokai series. Better yet, you don't even have to worry about your ki decreasing. And not to mention, you have this new feature called Ultimate Battle. For the first time in a Dragon Ball Z video game, they have a ranking system. Yes, that's right, a ranking system. Now, as much as I liked the game when it came out, I kind of missed some old stuff that its predecessors had. Like being able to raise your ki up for a transformation, choosing different skins for characters, and not to mention, I kind of found it tedious how when there was a brute-like stature like, I don't know, like Broly or Great Apes or Super Saiyan Trunks, a simple melee attack will not hurt them at all. Even if that person is stronger than that person. Like, the only thing that's gonna like hurt them is like a super attack, really. And this goes out through the whole trilogy of Tenkaichi. I never really understood what was the purpose of the whole lock-on thing. Like, we're fighting only one person, so shouldn't we be locked on to them at all times? Like, what's going on here? But hey, this series will improve on the next installments as they continued. Number 5, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Oh my god, we're strolling back to memory lane. Now, this is one of the most important Dragon Ball Z video games I've ever played. Nah, scratch that. This is the most important Dragon Ball Z video game I've ever played. And when this game came out, I was more into the Dragon Ball series at the time, and I didn't really want to like see the Z series just yet. But when I played this game for the first time, I eagerly awaited for the Z series, as it introduced me to Goku and Vegeta's rivalry, the Super Saiyan and the Saiyan heritage, and it even showed me how far the Z fighters came from being kids in search of the Dragon Balls into being warriors protecting the earth from unknown threats. And I'm gonna tell y'all something, I played this game's story so much, I can recite all of the lines of the cutscenes, bro. I'm not kidding you. Like, I know this game like the back of my freaking hand. And no matter how much I think I'm tired of this game, I'm always gonna come back and make it into my collection. This game is so iconic to me, and it holds a special place in my heart. And I love Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Number 4, Dragon Ball Z Infinite World. In my opinion, this is one of the most underrated Dragon Ball Z video game I have ever played. They took everything that we wanted in Budokai and put it into this game right here. And instead of the RPG like cutscenes, we get cinematic cutscenes, like what's been expected all this time. No offense to the RPG lovers, but in my opinion, Dragon Ball Z fighting games, well, Dragon Ball Z video games as a whole were made for cinematic cutscenes. And then they brought back the little border game story mode. I always loved that in Budokai 2. And we can't forget how dope the fighting is in its roster and how much I love this game. Now, I get it, you know, how it's not so popular. It did kind of run on the same engine as the Budokai series, and it was long inspired. Like, the last Budokai game came out in 2005, and this game right here came out like 2008, 2009-ish. But I still love the effort, and say what y'all want. If this game came out in 2005, it would have been a hit. But unfortunately, it came out after the Tenkaichi series. But hey, the game is still fire. Number 3, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2. Yeah, baby, we finna crack the top 3 with this, which means it's gonna get better and better from here. Now, remember in the first Tenkaichi that I mentioned before that it had some flaws? Well, this sequel seen the flaws and corrected it. Like I said before, the giants of this game seemed like they was invincible and melee attacks didn't do anything to them. But they fixed that with actually making characters who was actually stronger than them being able to break that barrier. And then they also improved another flaw too. You can actually turn into a Super Saiyan in this game this time instead of having to pick it. Oh well, you can still pick your Super Saiyan character, but you can actually transform too. But not only they improve on these flaws, they also expanded the base of the horizons with a bigger roster, a tag team mode. Yes, I repeat, for the first time you can actually play with more than one character at once. Okay, maybe not at once, but in the battle though. And they have another fly around story mode like they did in Budokai 3 and a whole new soundtrack. And in my opinion, this is the best soundtrack of Dragon Ball Z ever. And we can't forget about the story mode and how long it is. This story mode takes up so much time, bro. I remember when I played this game for the first time, it took me like 4 or 5 hours for me to go from the Saiyan Saga up to the Namek Saga, because it was a whole lot of detailed stuff, from the events to the non-canon sagas and to the what ifs. Like, this game right here was everything I wanted and then some. Number 2, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. For many people, this is the best Dragon Ball Z video game of all time. And if you were one of these people who believe that, I don't blame you, because, well, what's not to like about this game? For the first of all, the story mode was different, the fights was different, the roster and its boundaries was all beyond point. And not only did it have characters from 2 other series, plus the non-canon, and plus the GT, and plus the Dragon Ball, but also it had a story mode from every other character's point of view, which is very exclusive to this game only. And to be honest, I wish they brought back this method too, because that method was very interesting to hear everyone's side of the story. And not to mention, for the first time, the World Tournament had the cell games. And y'all know how I feel about the cell games. Y'all know how I feel about the cell games. Yeah. And I love how they had the Dragon Rush, the iconic beam struggles. And this game really emphasized off his defense a lot in this game. Because before, it was pretty much who had the stronger offense, but this game had offense and defense, baby. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3 was, is, and always will be timeless. Number 1, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 10. Last and certainly not least, we have DBZ Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think there was gonna be a game out there that was gonna top Tenkaichi 2 up to this point. But Tenkaichi 3, it came back and surprised me with this roster, with its modes, with its cinematics, and not to mention its combo systems, its defense systems. Like, it all had all the depth up to it. And there was various world tournaments, the Hercule tournament, the other world tournament. Oh, and I forgot, they had the Yamcha tournament. Yeah, but forget about that. And they finally brought it back. Now whenever you use a special move on the ground, it could destroy the planet that you're in. And then they have a battle replay system, so when you beat your boy's tail, you can save it and you can show everybody. How convenient is that? And for the Wii version, they put an online gaming feature in it. And in my opinion, this is not only the best game on this list, but it's one of my favorite video games of all time. And I love Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 because, in my opinion, it's iconic. So this concludes this here video. Let me know what you think about this game. Let me know what your rankings are, and don't be afraid to like, comment, and subscribe. This is your boy Perfect Cell. It's been real. This is Perfect Cell, and I'm Ghost.